Hello, cats and kittens. Oliver Jose Yoroshko. We're back in the Crisis Corner. Actually, we're in the movie corner, giving our impressions of the completed Obi-Wan Kenobi series. It's better known the Reva series. So I'm here with my man Dave.
What's up, good people?
Hey, yeah, so we're gonna try to track this down. I mean, I remember I stated, I don't know if I did this on tape, but Obi-Wan Kenobi is my favorite character in Star Wars.
Oh,
So it's
oh,
like, I mean, it's Obi-Wan, Luke, Vader, probably third, I guess. All of them done a disservice, but we'll get back to that later. I mean,
oh.
look, hey, and look, and I'm gonna be honest with you. Nowadays, and I'm in my old age, I'm mellowing out. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, I would rather praise than punish. You know what I'm saying?
Word?
Yeah, I mean, you'll see that when I'm gonna do my what you call them, Miss Marvel in a bit.
Oh, okay,
So
okay,
there's
okay.
things that I ain't into, just jamming people up for no reason.
No, I hear you. I
However,
hear you. I hear you. I hear
however,
you. I hear you.
if it's egregious, I got to say what it is. But we're gonna do this. We're gonna structure this in terms of the. We're gonna grade this essentially on the concept,
Okay,
the characters, the plot, and the execution, and give an
okay,
overall grade. When I say concept, I'm talking about what were they trying to accomplish with these series, with this
okay,
series.
okay, okay.
Now, as we start with the concept, I mean, in my mind, and you let me know what you think, this was supposed to be a, I mean, not just filling in gaps, but a kind of like what not gonna say what Rogue One was, like a Rogue One for Obi-Wan or something, but filling in a gap, but in a meaningful way in the
Yeah, I'm with you.
relationship between Obi-Wan and Anakin post
Yes,
Revenge of the Sith.
the effects it had on. I don't want to say because A New Hope kind of does that, but like Old Man Kenobi, you get this what the after effects of losing his best friend, brother, son, whatever relationship. I got you. I'm with you.
Whatever it was. I
Yeah,
mean,
whatever they were.
to me, the disappointment here is that it feels more like just filling it, just putting up content. There was
Yeah.
nothing. It didn't feel. Only in a couple of incidences did it feel like they was going for some type of meaningful information. You know what I'm saying? It didn't. Nothing about the series felt necessary. You know what I
So
mean?
you and I know that we've had this conversation offline, but ultimately, it's this running theme where Disney is like they're putting out product, and I'm not necessarily saying this, BT Dubs, but putting out some of this product is not art for the sake of art, but art for the sake of merchandising, art for the sake of just art for the sake of just having content,
Yeah.
not necessarily art for the sake of art itself, to make a statement, to have purpose. Um, we have this is a conversation we have in reference to a lot of the we're off topic, but a lot of the Marvel shows and so forth.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
art not necessarily for the sake of, because I like long form uh, entertainment. I like TV shows probably a little bit more than I like movies. I like the ability to
Right,
delve into, to do a deep dive into a lot of things, and sometimes it just seems like uh, Disney and the products that they are releasing don't respect that format. So it's a little irksome in that regard.
yeah. I mean, when you come up with a 6-issue format for
Hmm.
everything,
Yeah.
that lets me know that you don't really care about the story that you're telling, because some of the stories, and again, I'm not trying to get off topic, but going through all of their Marvel and Star Wars stuff,
Yeah.
some of these could go longer or shorter. If you don't have that much story to tell, just cut it down to 4 or 3. It shouldn't be like just we set the market six episodes,
I
for
got you.
everything, you know, and you just at some points you gotta fluff it, and in others you just cramping everything up.
Cramming stuff in.
And yeah,
Yeah.
and then you know, so but the story that they're supposed to be telling is what happened, if necessary, between Revenge of the Sith and New Hope. What was? I mean, they're trying to fill in blanks that some of blanks that don't really need to be filled in, and we
Well,
get
I
into
mean,
that. But you know,
well, I think some of it. I will say that it's this idea, and the concept of it is this is what happened to Obi-Wan post Revenge of the Sith. This is where he was as an individual. So I don't necessarily mind that because, you know, it's 20 years that go by, and it's to say something had to have an effect on him. I mean, something had to change because not to say whatever. I mean, we know that Jedi aren't supposed to have attachment, yada yada yada, the normal BS that they kick at people. But you know, this whole just watching the prequels, or if you watch you know, the Clone Wars, if you get into any of that kind of stuff, you get this idea that they get wrapped up in, like, those are their relationships. These Padawans, the Master Padawan dynamic is like, that's family. So whatever it was, whatever Anakin was to him, however they reconcile their relationship, it was important to him. It was probably the most important relationship he's had since Qui-Gon, and Anakin messed that thing up. So he has to come out of that brutalized in some form or fashion. And then you get to A New Hope, and somehow or another he's energized again. So there has to be some kind of transition. And in my mind, this was supposed to serve as that. This was supposed to say, hey, this is how we go from here, how he's affected as a human being. And this is how we get it so that he's able to hop on the Millennium Falcon and help Luke on his journey. So I guess, to me, that's meant to be the concept.
So essentially, they're saying conceptually at the end of Revenge of the Sith, when he's dispatched on his mission to look over Luke, at that point he become, you can say he was
broken
traumatized and broken hearted. And this is like not time frame wise. How long is this after Revenge of the Sith?
This is 10 years after.
10 years after Revenge, and until New Hope, how many more years? 10.
As far as I know, I think it's 7.
7.
I think Luke is 17, 18.
Right. Okay.
We're looking at 7, 8. So. See, I'm about to get into some stuff because we all want to get into how, because we about to get into how it irks me. Now I ain't as mad as Jose. But
let's go. Okay, conceptually, the first thing that irritates me is that this dude is like. I mean, I guess we get into the characters at this point. Obi-Wan.
You were good to go. We were good to characters.
Yeah.
All right.
So the only characters you really need to know about at this point is Reva, Obi-Wan, Leia Organa, I guess her parents, step parents or whatever you want to call them.
Her parents is fine.
Vader. That's pretty much it. Everybody else is kind of like, I mean, there's some side characters in there here and there, like
yeah,
well, whatever. So I mean, starting with Obi-Wan, I mean, he cut himself off from the Force and is working as a butcher, I guess. Watching Luke from a distance, which is fair. Why he cut himself off from the Force, I have no idea. I don't know why. I mean, because being downhearted because essentially, you know, you let the Empire, as a group, the Jedi let the Empire take over, and, you know, things are getting bad or as bad as they've been. That's fair. I mean, but why he cut himself off from the Force, I don't understand.
I mean, I'm going to say
why he's not actively using his abilities.
Well, I'm going to say this, my friend. Knowing you as I do, I know that broken old man stories are hard for you for whatever reason. You just don't get there with, you know. It might be a moment of softness, but you know, I know you said you've softened in your old age, but I tell you, broken old man stories just don't play for you. So I knew once I started watching it that bit was going to be hard for you, but that was definitely not a problem for me. So in my mind, the way I took it is, for all intents and purposes, I felt like, and I think Anakin states this in the Attack of the Clones. He tells Padme that for all intents and purposes, Obi-Wan is his father. So this man raised me up.
Mm-hmm.
So looking at it from that lens, Obi-Wan raised up a monster.
Mm-hmm.
And if you say, I trust in this force, now, no matter how you want to conceptualize the force, no matter how you want to see it, if you lean in the force, it should give you some sense of foresight. It should help you to guide your way to whatever. Obi-Wan raised up this dude, butchered younglings. You know what I'm saying? He was killing them all. And he's a monster. And Obi-Wan unleashed that onto the world. So it just seemed to me it's an introspective moment. So broken Obi-Wan isn't necessarily a problem for me. So I don't mind Obi-Wan with PTSD or however you want to see it. I like I don't have a problem with Obi-Wan's character. That's not necessarily my issue with this series, and I have major problems. But I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, okay. So I mean, but it's not compatible with the fact that he got to train this kid at some point. Why is he not at least? He's not sharp. I mean, we see that when he runs into not necessarily, yeah, definitely when he runs into Vader, we see that his edge is gone. His first time anyway.
Yeah.
And
see that I don't want to skip because I'm gonna tell you that's when stuff get bad for me. But go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I mean, and that he's not. I mean, he's a butcher for goodness sakes. I mean, he should be. If he's supposed to be, you see him attempting to try to commune with Qui-Gon, or actually for what reason? I don't. If it's just because he's lonely, I don't know. Because is Qui-Gon going to tell him something that's going to be useful in training Luke, or give him some sort of knowledge? I don't know.
Well, I'm gonna tell you, character-wise, that bit right there was a problem for me. I can tell you, I didn't enjoy that. So, not to say whatever. I find it's a tough situation because, like you said, if we look at this like these are family units, like for all intents and purposes, that's whatever. If Anakin was Obi-Wan's son, then Obi-Wan is Qui-Gon's. So that's his father, that's his mother, those are his parents. And I get that. My problem in some ways, and it's not, I have a problem with angst on older people. I have a problem with what I would call, because to me, he's a old man begging for daddy. Yeah, I don't like that. I don't like that at all. That don't sit well for me. Like, it don't work for me. I mean, this is real. I got a problem with that. Like, I'm looking for this straight up Godfather bit. Marlon Brando hitting Johnny, man. You get real talk. It was irking me. It was irking me. That irked me more than anything. Like, just that bit of his character was bothersome to me.
I mean, it's like he woke him up, man, like he was praying to Jesus or something. You know, one guy give me strength. It blew me. I was like,
no.
Okay, I didn't get that. I mean, I ain't fair. All right, so. Okay, he broke it old man. He waiting for this dude to grow up to be whatever age till he trains him to use the force. All right. Okay, so juxtapose that with Vader, who's just going about doing his Vader business. And if you depends on what you don't have legends anymore. I guess the expanded universe tells you what Vader was doing. And, I'm pretty sure Disney is some comics and books and stuff that are out there telling you
I think so.
What Disney Vader was doing or whatever. But the man was active. He was running around. I mean, if you go by the video games, he was making, he had Star Killer running around and doing this, that, and he was doing crafty stuff. You know what I mean?
I mean, he was still, I mean, like, this is, you had, the Inquisitors, you had, I mean, they were running around murking Jedi. So he was, He was running around doing whatever Disney
Yeah.
version. Luke, whatever, however you want to do it. He was running around murking cats. He was doing business.
Okay. So I mean, all right. So that's fair. Those. Let's get them out the way. They, for some reason, they bring in Reva, who I believe should not be in this. And put it like this: she shouldn't be. She should either be the main character of this story or not be in it at all.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? That's the way I look at it. I got no problem with Reva as a character.
Okay.
Honestly, I don't. I don't have any problem with her story because it's not. It's to me, it's just as interesting as what they started telling with Finn. You know, stormtrooper turned hero for the whatever, which would have been a great story if they'd have followed through with it. All right, Finn. Now you got a youngling that's got caught up in Order 66, whatever.
I liked it.
I liked her story. I'm kind of confused as how she was going about getting her revenge, because her revenge included killing off more of the people that she was upset got murdered in the first place. So killing off Jedi, assisting in the murder of Jedi, so that you can get close to Vader and murder him.
I mean, it's deep cover. I mean, it's deep cover. I mean, that's how I took it. It's deep cover. I'm gonna get as dirty as I need to, so I can get as close to this dude as I can, and then I'm going to just stab him in the back.
I mean, because honestly, by the time he came to make her the Grand Inquisitor, if she had a thermal detonator, that could have been it right there. Because it's a suicide mission anyway. She can't beat him. It wasn't like she was going to best him in some kind of a battle. It was going to have to be murder. Just straight up. Low tech, whatever. I mean,
well. In her defense, and I will say, and this is an issue that maybe I guess I have with the show, is I'm under the impression that it seemed to me, and I don't know. Let me know what your thoughts are in that regard. But she seemed to me to be the weakest of the Inquisitors. I don't know. She seemed to be the weakest Force user. Yeah. She was underneath whomever, but somehow or another, she caught the Grand Inquisitor off guard. And I don't, like I'm gonna tell you, I don't know, whatever. But I'm assuming that's what she thought she was gonna do with Vader.
Okay, and as I understand it, and I'm not, I'm kind of like a tourist when it comes to deep Star Wars, whatever. But Inquisitors are nowhere near the level of a Sith in terms of like their abilities, their powers, blah blah blah. So she thought she was going to slump Vader,
catch him unawares.
Okay, fine. All right, let's let that go for a second. I mean, but like I say, the main thing is I have no problem with her character as such, including her in the story that's supposed to be about Obi-Wan, and because honestly, this is a rematch story. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
So if I heard that Ali and Frazier was going to fight again, I wouldn't expect to hear about some undercard that was interfering with me seeing Ali Frazier. You know what I'm saying? I don't understand why you make her that prominent in the story that don't really have anything to do with her.
Well, I think the idea is it's supposed to be Ali Frazier 2. You're working towards Ali Frazier 2, but Frazier don't. Well, I guess it depends on how you will look at it, because we know who won Ali versus Frazier 1. But essentially, I'm gonna flip them because it is what it is. But Ali's over somewhere in the cut. He's just chilling, and Frazier don't know where he's at, so he can't get to him. So you need some kind of tool, some kind of mechanism to bring these folks together. And for the purposes of Kenobi, that was Reva. She was the promoter. She's Don King in this joint. So for all of this, that's her purpose, is to get this fight to happen. And she does
it. All right. Okay, that's. I'm gonna give you that. She is a mechanism to get the two of them together. I still think there could have been a better way for you to do that without making her too intrusive. I would like to see her. I mean, I would actually like to see her story done properly, with her. From beginning to end, blah, blah, blah. You know what I'm saying? Go through the steps of her formative, upbringing, her escape from Order 66. I mean, from the
Order 66.
temple.
Yeah.
You know how she was living up until then. How she got to be an inquisitor after being stabbed. You know, when she was a kid. I mean, that's some crazy stuff going on.
I'm with you. I mean, and I think I read somewhere that for all intents and purposes, she was going to die. So I'm assuming she's going to spin off. I'm assuming she's going to get her own little bit because the character's strong, and she was well, the character itself, because I don't want to get to, because we ain't got into our next topic being plot, because let me tell you, that's what but the character of Reva, herself was, I liked it. She was a high point for the show to me. So I'll say that.
Okay, let's get rid of the rest of them. I started calling him Gargamel, but Vader, he's because he turned it into Gargamel. If they do that, I'll get you spells. I mean, I swear they're ruining this man. They're ruining this man, and they don't even understand why. But anyway, Vader's in here. Of course, he has to be, a part of the plot because this is a revenge type joint. He's been looking for this dude for a minute, and he got this arm, so he got to get his revenge. I feel that's absolutely necessary.
Yeah, I'm with you.
So I'm fine with him as such. Organa is a major plot hole in this thing that I don't understand. We'll get to that in the plot for a minute, in a second. You got what you call them, Leia, who was extremely problematic in the long haul. I don't know why you needed to bring her into this, because again, when you get to New Hope, it queers things.
I'm having a hard time reconciling some stuff.
I mean, the only man when it was weeping for Obi-Wan's death was Luke, and he met that dude like
a couple of days. Which is crazy.
She can't walk away. And this man saved her life. So I don't know why you were bringing into this the way that they did, but whatever.
It's a problem for me. It's a problem for me.
Unnecessary characters. You got there's some under characters. My man, you got the Inquisitor, whatever. You got what's the lady that was helping in the Underground Railroad? What's her name?
Yeah.
She was there for a second. She did a good job. She was all right. Then you got
I thought Tala.
Yeah, I thought she was.
I thought the character. I liked a lot of the characters. I'm gonna be honest with you. So
I thought she was gonna survive to the Reva show, but apparently not. But I tell you who is though. My man, what you call him, son? What you call him?
Who?
My man, the other dude that was in the Underground Railroad. What you call him?
Oh, you talking about Lil Cube?
Yeah, Ice Cube. Son. He's going to be in the Reva show. This whole thing is a commercial for the Reva show. I'm telling you. Obi-Wan was a commercial for the Reva show.
He's about Lil Cube go make it.
Oh yes. Okay. I mean, that conversation we had. They need leaders out here. Keep going.
Yeah.
They ain't got stuff. Now either he's gonna get his own series, which would be a huge mistake, or he should be part of the Reva series.
He's gonna be part of the Reva show.
Yeah, which I mean, if you're gonna do that, go ahead and put get him in there. Because he ain't gonna hold no series by his own. And if they think he is, they're making a terrible mistake. Aside from that, those are basically the characters that you need to look out for. Can't think of anybody else. All right. Plot wise, Obi-Wan is doing his duty. He's a butcher. He's watching over Luke. And then Organa tells some reason Organa, the only job he had was to watch over one girl. He had the resources of an entire planet to keep one girl safe. He fails. So then he gonna mess up Obi-Wan's deal and try to drag him over to clean up his mistake. And for some reason Obi-Wan goes along with it. I don't understand. All right. I mean, because look, one of them. I mean, look, it seemed like even in the 4, 5, and 6, there wasn't no interest in training Leia anyway. So basically, Luke was the guy that had to survive. Because wasn't nobody going to train Leia. It doesn't look like it. It looked like
that wasn't.
Now she was backup. Don't get me wrong. Because Yoda said, there's one left.
Yeah, I'm trying to tell you, if he go down, we got another one in the bag.
I'm curious as to how she was going to help, because didn't nobody take no time to try to teach her anything. I mean, at least you got the Luke when he was 17.
Yeah.
And now you advance forward by Empire or by Jedi. She got to be they're twins, so she got to be in her mid-20s, I guess.
I think they're early mid-20s. I think
and that's when her training would have started.
Oh no, it's a year later. So she about 21.
Yeah,
early 20s. Yeah.
So the hope was going to be a 21-year-old that you just now got to start training. So you know what I'm saying. So if I was Obi-Wan, I'd have rejected his call for help and stayed where I was and looked after the boy.
But that goes into the level of clairvoyance one would have in the Force. Because in my mind, I don't know that they, he was there because Luke needed to be trained. He was just there to make sure Vader never finds out, because this dude is a potential weapon. Mm-hmm. So he's there to safeguard, I guess, the galaxy, because we can't have this happen. So I don't know necessarily that, either of them were meant to be trained.
But he told Owen, he said the boy must be trained. See?
He did actually. Now that but see, at this point in time, it's when you start talking about how stuff connects. Because I'm just like, that whole, that's not what you was there for. That's not what you said at the end of 3. That's not what you was there for. Like, I just don't talk about. Like, I'm trying to tell you, dude. The fact that it does not lay seamlessly to me between episodes 3 and 4. It's a problem to me in that regard, because it fumbles the baton pass. It's just it makes it, and not that you can go in on what George Lucas was on, and I don't want to pretend I ain't one of those people that's going to come around and say, oh man, I love the prequels. Watch our videos of the prequels and you can see whatever, because in my mind you can't watch them unless you're watching 4, 5, and 6, unless it's a Star Wars winning weekend. And I'm just talking about episodes 1. I can't do the prequels like that. It's a problem for me. So, but I will say, George Lucas, his stuff goes. It matches up. I mean, this was leading to this. It goes, and I can tell you, this comes up the works. This is a problem to me. Like when you get into plot and how continuity and so forth, this whole thing goes off the rails. I'm gonna tell you, like, the problem, like, I love Reva as a character. I'm gonna tell you that off the break, but this idea, and this is it boggles the mind to me. Like, this is just nonsense. She says, I was reading a file, and in this file it said that Obi-Wan, he might have kicked it with Bail Organa, and they might be friends. So I'm a kid now. I'm just like, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? You telling me you so attuned with the Force that you telling me you knew this is what it took? You knew this was crazy to me, dude. Like, from that point on, just like, this is a hope and a prayer. A hope and a prayer. That's what they should have called this. Obi-Wan Kenobi, a hope and a prayer. Because at this point, I'm gonna get Kenobi. I'm gonna bag me to win. No, this doesn't make any sense to me. And like you said, Obi-Wan, you get a twin, I'll take a twin. We always wanted a daughter. You are a king of a planet. You are a senator. You mean to tell me that you go look for a broken down old Jedi? And you the one. That's your daughter.
Yeah.
I'm gonna send Obi-Wan's retired. He's out the game, dog. I'm gonna send him for my. No, man, it don't make any sense to me.
I mean, when you came and you visited him and saw the shape that he was in, you should have been like, "Oh, I'll go back somewhere. I'll get that bounty out of you." Know what I'm saying?
Yo,
he should have looked for. I don't know, Mando. Was he out at the time? I don't know. He should have looked for somebody else.
Yo, man, dude.
I'm not gonna get into it, but Ahsoka actually should have been available, but we won't get into that. All right, so continuing the plot. So, like you say, Leia gets kidnapped. While we waiting for this rematch, Leia gets kidnapped by Flea from Red Hot Chili
Red Hot
Peppers.
Chili Peppers. I mean, that was a highlight.
Which is
Might like,
but I like seeing Flea.
yeah.
And so, but it's all Reva behind that because she's trying to get her hands on Leia to lure Obi-Wan out so that she can get Vader.
Her level of genius, her puppeteering skills rivals that man's Sidious. Somehow or another, they're wasting her as the third sister. It just boggles the mind, dude.
Now, were they on Tatooine because they thought Obi-Wan was there, right?
No, they were on Tatooine. At the beginning, they were on Tatooine because that Jedi that they tried to get.
Oh, they was looking. Okay.
He was on Tatooine.
But she thought Obi-Wan was there.
No, I don't know that she thought Obi-Wan was there or not. But she didn't know where Obi-Wan was. She was trying to get Obi-Wan out of hiding. She came for that Jedi, and it was a moment where Owen fell on her radar, which I don't whatever. Because I'm trying to tell you stuff like that. I guess my problem was it was too many happenstances that the stuff was just falling into place. It just didn't make any sense to me. Like her attuneness with the Force just was so incredible. Her ability to plan things out. I don't know how she didn't get Vader. I just don't know how this didn't work out. So she knew it was something about Owen that made her set her eye on him. It was stuff like this that was happening throughout the whole show that just irked me. I know we ain't on the episode where we get to the Underground Railroad and she just happens to see it. I'm trying to tell you, it was just happening all over the place. Every time it happened, it had me hot.
Okay. So again, Reva's trying to get her hands on Leia so she can get her hands on Obi-Wan so she can get her hands on Vader.
Put some respect on her name, Darth Reva.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So that's basically now in executing this plot, man. So the plot itself, I thought was flimsy. It could have been more straight ahead. It could have been a little bit more organic, in my opinion. But like I said, I wouldn't have bothered with Reva unless she was going to make a show about her. Or, I'd have been straight in for but as an agent to bring the two of them together, that's what they decided on, so that's what we got to work with. Fine. Acting wise, I heard a lot of complaints about, Reva yelling all the time and being, whatever. I didn't have a problem with the actress.
No, I actually didn't.
I think she was okay. I didn't think she was great. But I thought she was good enough. I thought she was okay. I mean, for a person that I didn't want to see in the first place, but I didn't have no problem with her necessarily. I
thought she was solid.
Yeah, I thought she was solid.
I thought she was solid.
McGregor did a good job.
McGregor was great. I'm trying to tell you, one of the big highlights of I'll tell you, acting wise, I thought it was fantastic. I thought McGregor came back in. James Earl Jones is James Earl Jones. You put Hayden Christensen in a suit, I guess he can do all right. He can move his arms. Yeah. James Earl Jones was fantastic. I thought the acting, the people who needed to shine, I thought they shone. I thought it was all right. The little girl was okay. I mean, she was okay.
And that goes a little bit back into the plot, I guess. I mean, the bit where they go to what is it? Organis Planet.
Alderaan.
Alderaan, the kidnapping girl, and she's like running around loose, and they bumbling over themselves to try to capture her. Man, that was embarrassing. In terms of, it's like first you send buffoons to pick her up, and they struggle to catch a 10-year-old girl who ain't really trying that hard. She's just doing what she's doing, And Star Wars has this thing where they keep dropping the level of the antagonists to the point where you got no respect for them. And that's a problem because there's no threat level there. You know what I'm saying? And
threat level was hard. I'm sorry, go ahead.
I almost forgot the dude that played the fake Jedi. He was in there too. The dude that was in
Canal.
yeah. He wound up having a decent role.
Oh yeah.
You know, okay, so the the acting I think was solid
Yeah.
for the most part. I think the FX were middle of the road because some of the stuff they would just shoot were entirely too dark for me.
Okay.
Entirely too
Which
dark.
is becoming a thing. I think
Yeah. I think it's
cinematography is just like what I don't. Well, I'm not going to go into that because it would be really, really off subject. It's not even
I know
Disney.
what you're going to say,
But
yeah.
yeah, man. Cinematography is just too crazy, man. I just think it's to the point where stuff is just way too dark for no reason.
I don't know if it's cost saving measures or is it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure why they skimped to the point that they did on the special effects, but it wasn't embarrassing.
Okay.
Only it just looked for the money that they are supposedly put into it. It seemed like they didn't spend it all on the FX, which is baffling to me. You know why, but you know. So again, the execution of the story. I got issues with the pacing. I thought was a little slow. It seemed like they were filling.
Okay.
At times, it seemed like sometimes they were filling. Um, I'm trying to be specific. The in the end, I thought the bit at the end basically where where the Empire is chasing after Obi-Wan and them, and it reminded me of episode, what was it, 8,
8,
when it was
yeah.
chasing them around.
Yeah,
And
man.
you got one big Star Destroyer shooting at the ship, and they can't hit him, right? So then man decides, we'll split them up. I'll go here and they go there. They forgot that they had fighters on the ship, and they could just as easily have sent the fighters after Obi-Wan and the Star Destroyer after the little ship and got them both. But for some reason they said, nah, Vader said, I'm gonna go and get him. Right?
Because he wanted Obi-Wan. He wanted Obi-Wan. He wanted his pound of flesh.
Who's to argue? But honestly, you could have got them both easily. Go back a little bit. The initial encounter between Obi-Wan and Vader, that's got all kind of holes in it because he should have killed him, or at least taken him captive easily. Because Obi-Wan, for some reason, he wasn't. I guess it was a PTSD. He wasn't able to use the Force.
Yeah.
He was able to a couple of days later. he found his balls or something. I don't know.
I mean, Leia unlocked it. It was what it was. She reinvigorated.
So when he thought, I mean, he's getting dumped on. He's died. Vader got the high ground finally. And he's dumping all of the rocks down on Obi-Wan. He thinks of Leia and says, "Oh, you get the eye of the tiger and rises up." He ain't think about Luke though. The Batman he ain't think about Luke.
I mean, like you said, and I don't know, and I don't want to get into this whole woke topic, and I don't want to get into whatever, but for whatever intents and purposes, and I don't know, man, and because I guess the idea is to me, it's, do you think Leia needs this treatment? That's where it falls to me. Was Leia not a strong enough character in her own right in the original trilogy? Like, how does that, whatever? Because at this point in time, it was Leia had to be, she had to be a little tomboy. She had to, be out there doing the thing, and it was Leia that had to reawaken. And it diminishes Luke and who Luke is meant to be in terms of Obi-Wan, in terms of the story. So I'm not,
And think about this. And I was listening to you talking about the evolution basically of Obi-Wan. He went from broken man to being the cat that we see in New Hope. The dude is in control. He got everything together. He plotted out their travel. We're gonna catch this ship with this cat Han Solo, whatever. He lined everything up to get to where they were supposed to go. He was in control of the situation. Even to the point where he sacrificed his life. It wasn't like desperation. There was a plan to get them dudes. He sacrificed himself so that the others could take off. Whatever. He was in control of his situation from beginning to end. In this series, he's bumbling around, basically not in control of anything, to be honest with you, being led around by Organa throwing stuff on his doorstep. Then when he goes to get Leia, he seems confounded by all kind of little things. I mean, if you go back to the scene where they take that little, I forget, that little speeder or whatever, and they were heading towards where they were supposed to meet. The fake Jedi told them to meet somebody someplace, whatever.
Yeah.
And they were on there, and then they ran into the what you call them, Empire forces at that little gate.
At the checkpoint, yeah.
Okay, at the checkpoint. Forget about the fact that, getting onto that, she basically came up with the plan. Hey, let's jump onto that little, transport. He was, at that point, he was stumped. He didn't know what to do. She said, hey, let's get on there. So he went along with it. All right. So then they go over to the checkpoint, all kind of stuff break loose. By the time the troops showed up and basically told him, they was about to get executed, you know what I'm saying? He had no answer. At that point, if Homegirl hadn't showed up, they'd have been dead or captured. He had no solution for that situation. A Jedi, you know what I'm saying? Who had been in many tight spots before in his life, he was stumped. He was like, oh no, he was down on his knees, head down, looking like, oh dang, what are we going to do now? And I was like, Obi-Wan Kenobi? Really? Oh,
great
boy.
Negotiator.
He didn't use no mind tricks. He didn't try to do nothing. He was just like, dang, we gonna get shot. You know what I'm saying? This stuff like that is what pissed me off. This ain't the dude that anyway, so he evolved, whatever.
He's working back towards that, I guess, yeah.
Leia, they're basically saying that she was always who she was. You know what I'm saying? She was this spunky princess warrior, whatever, in New Hope, and she was that when she was 10 years old. So, you know what I'm saying? I just felt better if she was scared and frightened, and then through her interaction,
this encounter, she found herself.
Some kind of way.
Yeah. She evolved as a character.
Yeah,
I'm with you.
He told her, don't be afraid. She was like, yeah, I'm going to have courage and stuff like that. And then she do little things that show you that
how she became
a gateway to where she was going to come.
How she became Leia, who was a badass. And
that's what I'm saying. It seemed like she was quick-witted and brave and all of that from the get-go. So there was no need for her to advance. All she needed to do was grow up. That's all.
And I'm gonna tell you this, like real talk, not to say whatever. And I don't want to pretend, because Luke had this brashness about him when he was a kid. But real talk, when you as Obi-Wan, when you see Leia and whatever, I'm just like, I need to train her. That's the one we need right there. Like, like real talk, like that's the one. That's the New Hope.
Yeah,
her right there. I don't need this Luke dude. I don't need this to happen, because like I just like that kid right there. She a winner.
That's what
I had a tiger as a kid. Yeah, I'm with you.
Dang, girl got heart. You know what I'm saying? She ain't scared nothing. She like calling out shots and whatnot. You know what I'm saying? Let's get with her. I ain't going back to Tatooine. You know what I'm saying?
I'm saying right here, whatever happens, Tim happens.
And then, they fill in all of these obligatory things, like where he got his little model ship from and where she got her gun belt from, which I'm not a question I ever asked myself. Honestly, why she started putting her hair up in that little bun or whatever. I don't care about that, man. They feel like they need to fill in these little holes, but I don't care. I just don't.
But there are fans out there who will, Jose. There are fans out there who like, man, that was great.
Easter eggs and down rabbit holes and stuff like that. I don't care about that. Anyway. So we sit on execution. So, and again, the Obi-Wan, he exhibits a level of power here that I don't think he's ever shown in any of the series.
All right, so this is I'm gonna tell. So I want to touch on this because I'm gonna tell you, like, in some ways, this is problematic for me.
Yeah.
So what I will say that I did enjoy was in terms of force practitioners combat. This
Mhm.
might be in some ways my favorite execution of it just throughout the entirety of Star Wars. I'll tell you that off the break. So that bit where Vader's fighting Reva and he's just blocking her crap with
Over
his
there,
with the
yeah.
Force. I love that. In my mind, that's how Cass is supposed to be. And I know we talked about it before, but when back in episode 2, when Yoda's fighting Count Dooku, he's going up against the Tyrannus, and I know it was a highlight that man Yoda brandishes that saber. But I honestly, even with all the flips and acrobatics, I'd have preferred had he just been using the Force to push that man's lightsaber away. I would have preferred that he didn't brandish his saber until he fought Sidious in episode 3. And this is just real talk. So I really truly enjoyed Vader blocking everything with with the Force. I enjoyed when he clipped Obi-Wan, he threw him with the Force. I'm trying to tell you, stuff
Mhm.
like that makes sense to me, and I don't know why they don't fight that way. So I'm just going to say that in terms of combat, this was easily my favorite display of Force practitioners fighting throughout the entirety of Star Wars.
I can, I can,
So a highlight for me.
I like the fact that they showed, and again, I'm an Obi-Wan fanboy. I like the fact that we finally seen him do something out of the usual.
Yeah.
But throwing them rocks at my man and whatnot.
Oh,
And that was vicious. That was pretty good. You know what I'm
and
saying?
not to say whatever, because I mean, with and I know I got off subject with my little rant before, but I'll say in terms of him, the power he was exhibiting, I honestly felt like, and perhaps it was meant to be a throwaway line for Lucas in episode 2, but it always meant something to me when Anakin was telling Padme he's as wise as Master Yoda, as powerful as Master Windu. Like, what do you mean when you say that?
Right,
Like,
right, right.
to me, this is when it get to be a problem for me, because I'm gonna tell you the baton. It seems to me whatever. So if you say it's 10 years from episode 3, Revenge of the Sith, 10 years, and then by episode 4, his power has diminished so greatly. So this is we'll say 17, 18 years. He in the middle of this. So in the next 8 years, this man ain't got the power to lift a grape. And I'm just like, wait a minute, what's happened here?
This
This is peak Kenobi. This is peak Kenobi.
I mean, honestly, at this point, he's. I mean, if we're using the Ali Fraser, comparison, it's at the conclusion of this series is what 2. He's 2-1. First, he chopped off my man's arms and legs. He took a brief hit before he got his nerve back, being dragged in the fire and stuff like that. And then I'm not even gonna say it's a problem for me, but the power scaling is are we saying now that Obi-Wan is clearly, I'll put it like this, is Vader no match for Obi-Wan at this point? Because it's not like he beat him on a technicality. He didn't get the high ground. They were standing on equal footing.
Oh, he wore that man out.
He just he bodied that dude. It was like, it was ridiculous. After he got that layer boost, it wasn't even a fight. Bama got his head cut open. He got cut on the back. He got stuff thrown on him. He ragdolled that dude at the end. That's why. And then which is what got me with the Gargamel thing, because at the end he's telling the Emperor, "I'll get them." You know what I'm saying? He ain't getting nobody. And if they keep this going, if they fight again, they diminish Vader, man. I'm telling you, they bring him down to Gargamel level. You know what I'm saying? The Bama is he a bluffer at this point.
I mean,
he's a bluffer because he didn't kill him in 4.
So
Obi-Wan took the hit in 4. He never killed. I mean, he never gets his revenge. We know that now.
I mean, that's true. So so I'm always, so as far as I know, or as far as I understand it, it seems to me Anakin or Vader, however you want to call him, is just he's unfulfilled potential.
Right.
And I've read or come to understand that him losing his limbs, it very much it inhibited his ability to reach that potential. So him being in that suit. So to my mind, I don't necessarily, if especially if we're going to go off the idea that, and I don't know that Obi-Wan is as powerful as Mace Windu. I can't say that, in my mind that that's remotely close to being true, but I will say he one of the top cats in the order, especially by the end. Like it just, as far as I know, it looked to me, it was Yoda, Windu, and then it was Obi-Wan. Like it just,
And I mean, I go on. I mean, I'm like I say, I'm not a great Star Wars. I'm not great on Star Wars knowledge, so I look at dudes like Seth the Programmer and people like that, and they do their rankings of Sith and Jedi, and Obi-Wan routinely comes in maybe top 5 with some other people over him, maybe top 5, top 10, whatever. But they say definitely top 10.
Okay.
At this point, and Vader usually comes in the top 5. Even, I mean, Anakin, before he lost it, when he, turned into Darth Vader, but still had his arms and legs, was stronger. But when, Obi-Wan got to him, disarmed him, he dropped. But he's still up there with, some elite dudes, even from, the Old Republic, or Knights of the Old Republic level. They say it's basically because of his rage. His rage amps him, and plus he's just like a crafty dude that can fight, whatever. But this dude got whipped. I mean, it wasn't even funny. I mean, I'm trying to do the scale in here and see, are these dudes, are they comparable?
I'm under the impression that it's the way I took it is I do, like, so in episode 3, I thought Anakin was probably more powerful than Obi-Wan.
Yes.
However, like he said, he's as wise as Yoda. Yeah. And whatever. So I was under the impression that this was a situation in which wisdom defeated, power.
Right.
So I didn't have a problem with that. So in this one, when he got his ability back, in some ways, I think I would actually say he was strong enough that he kind of, sort of, to me, would catch Vader unaware. So I think Vader was sleeping on him a little bit. And then you also run into that suit is a detriment. So it is what it is. So all Obi-Wan did, he got inside and he jacked up that suit, and it was a wrap from that point in time. Vader wasn't able to recover. He wasn't able to bounce back. It wasn't a situation in which we on equal footing. This dude got a suit that essentially is propping him up. Yeah, it's his life support, and Obi-Wan damaged it. I mean, which is genius to me. I don't know why I'm not going to fight you as a, like we ain't going to, whatever. I'm banging out this suit, which is what he did, and then he banged out Vader.
Okay.
So I wasn't. I'm torn in so much that I don't necessarily have a problem with this level of power from Obi-Wan per se. I can say that it doesn't, to me, match up with what I see in A New Hope. But I'm torn in so much that I honestly feel like you say, it diminishes Vader. No matter what, like, he got his ass whooped. Like, it wasn't a situation in which, he lost and it was close. It wasn't, like, by the time when Obi-Wan showed up for the fight, it was a wrap.
Yeah.
It was a wrap. Like, it was, I'm
struggling with that one. Because dude has to be, outside of the Emperor, he has to be the benchmark of bad dudes in the series. Maul comes under him. All of them dudes come under him, essentially, when you think of...
Yeah.
Honestly, I mean, the Emperor doesn't, especially from 4 to 6, he don't lift a finger.
No.
So your impression of the dude to be afraid of
is Vader.
In the Empire is Vader.
And so, the only reason you're afraid of the Emperor is because Vader's afraid of him.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm with you.
So I'm kind of, that it kind of queers things for me in that respect, because he seems to be a little diminished in my eyes. He don't need to be saying, I'm going to get, I'll get him this time. That's what his underlings say, so that he chokes them. You know what I'm saying? That's what all of the admirals that say, I'll do better this time and get choked out. That's what they do. You know what I'm saying? He don't do that. He gets his man. You know what
I'm
I'm
with
saying?
you. I would prefer that it be a situation in which, even if he took that L, when he rolled up to the bridge and he talking to the emperor or whatever, I'd have preferred it to be a situation where he just said, you know, we gonna never. I mean, that man Obi-Wan is going to be in hiding forever. We ain't gonna ever
Uh-huh.
hear of Obi-Wan Kenobi. If he knows what's best for him, I best not ever set eyes on him. Period. Period.
Yeah. Which I hope. I don't know if they're gonna do a round 2, round 3, and to keep this going. I just let it go.
Can't be no more rounds. Can't be no
No,
more
it's
rounds.
just
This
let
got to
it go.
be it.
For goodness
This got to
sake.
be it.
Because if he
This
get
got to
beat
be it.
down, if he get beat down one more time, they're going to rewrite this joint.
No, I
I'm
mean,
telling you.
well, because you know, and here's my problem too. Because again, it's all about hand holding. It's all about that baton pass. So if we get to episode 4, A New Hope. They're in there. They're about to wreck. And he says, you know, when last we met, you know, you were the master.
Mm-hmm.
I was a student. I was the student. Like essentially, that was our dynamic. Not to say because it wasn't master student anymore in Revenge of the Sith, but Obi-Wan was his teacher.
Right.
And you know, whatever, I got you. At this point in time, he ain't your master no more, dude. This is the dude that cut off your leg, your arm. This is your enemy. So when you start talking about when last we met, no, dog. When last we met, you whipped my ass. Like it's a different vibe. I just don't.
That's it.
So he can't see him anymore. He can't. We can't have a situation in which there's a round 2. If there's a Obi-Wan Kenobi 2, Vader can't be the. He can't. We can't have a Vader situation.
Nah. And he can't, at this point, he can't win a round against Obi-Wan unless he loses the subsequent round, which means he'll go from 2-1 to 2-2 and then 3-2. You know what I'm saying? Because it has to end with him getting beat.
Because he can't say the line he said. Yeah, I'm with you.
Exactly. So I mean, I didn't have a problem with him beating Vader. I was shocked at the way that he beat him. That's it. You know what I'm saying? I was looking at. I said, "Yo, was raising up rocks. He did that pose. You know? He didn't have no fear in his eyes. You know, he wrecked that man. Just like I say, I mean, which is cool to me because to be honest with you, this is the equivalent, and I always gotta go back to Naruto or whatever, of seeing more of Kakashi's jutsus. They always say he had over 1,000.
Okay.
8 or 9. It's like Kakashi doing like 10, 11, 12, 13, and you be like, oh my God, it is. He's a beast. So this is the equivalent of Kakashi using more jutsus. And I'm like, because this is stuff that he should have been able to do anyway. You know, if you reckon him to be as wise as Yoda and as powerful as
Windu. Yeah.
I mean, I was just happy to see it because that's my dude. You know what I'm saying? I just was like, wow, he took that guy.
Yeah, when you look at it's because it's a situation in which it becomes complicated because Vader is who he is. Yeah. So it's a complicated situation. So yeah, I mean, on one hand, and I can't say Kenobi's necessarily my favorite character in all of Star Wars. I can't go that far. I will tell you, he's easily top 5 for me. Easily top 5. So I enjoy him an awful lot. So I'll if I'm being real, and I'll say I enjoy Vader an awful lot too. So you have to have Vader has to have this level of respect. You can't diminish him as a villain. And you can't have nobody beat him like he's a mule. Like you just he was beating on that dude like he was a drum. And I felt like I don't know. It was something about it that just didn't sit right to me because Vader still has to be somebody that needs to be feared. Yeah. Like in my mind, Obi-Wan has to know if I run into this dude, it's a problem.
Yeah.
Period. And I'm with you. When they had that first encounter, Vader should have killed him. I didn't understand how the fire stopped him from pulling that man through the flames. I mean, I didn't mind him torturing him a little bit because you could just tell the hate. But I don't know why he ain't just. You know, I didn't know why he ain't yank him. Like I just didn't understand. The Force don't work no more. Like you can't have him exhibit the power he was exhibiting. He was doing the stuff. Like I told you, I like the way they used the Force in this show. Period.
They did some stuff that was
But somehow or another, you can't draw him to you, dude. Like you ain't running nowhere, dog. I mean, the dude
No,
when he pulled down the ship, I'm trying
that
to
was,
tell
you know what I'm
you,
saying?
I'm
See,
trying to
and
tell you.
I like them doing stuff like that in Star Wars because you know that's the stuff that's in the novels, that's in the, you know, whatever. Dudes got powers in the books,
Yeah,
but in the movies, you know, first there was the limitations of 4 through 6 visually, and
yeah,
maybe they
yeah.
didn't, you know, they couldn't deal with that at that time. Then when you go back 1 through 3, you did honestly you didn't really get a grand sense of the Force until you got them trash 7 through 8. We know Palpatine lighting up an entire, you know, what you call them, attacking Armada or whatever. You know, that's just, that stuff is in the novels. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
But this was the first time you saw, you know, dude yanking a ship that's trying to escape. You know, engines gun. Then you like grab that joker.
The other thing was,
That's terrifying. You know what I'm saying? I like when they put that stuff in there because that gives me the idea of the expanding universe and what Cats was routinely doing. You know, in I mean, as a wrap up, the and still kind of like in the execution type arena. The problem that I have mainly with the story is what it does to the rest of the continuity.
okay.
You get the situation where Leia knew this man. He can tell her all, you know, all he wants, you know, don't speak about us, you know, because it can endanger whatever. When he got struck down in 4, the jig's up, man. If she was balling over his loss, what difference does it make?
Yeah,
She,
man.
Luke was the only dude that seemed to care that he was
Seemed to
dead.
care, and that's because he was the old man that lived in the mountains in my neighborhood. You know, everybody knows old Kenobi. Like I'm with you. I didn't, you know, it was a situation in which she was consoling Luke
Yeah,
as opposed to them consoling each other.
brother.
Because
Yeah,
I mean, because as far as I know, the relationship is the same. You know, this old dude showed up. He saved you as a child. Like I don't, I that was this is a problem to me. Like I'm with you.
at this
The
point,
way
you
that
had to.
it connects,
At this point, she
it's a
had to say, "You know what, man? I knew that dude too, man. He saved me
yeah.
when I was 10."
Exactly,
And then he won't
exactly.
start crying.
No,
You know?
exactly, exactly. Man,
But you can't do it. You know what I mean? Honestly, to be honest with you, him giving Luke that toy in person
uh-huh.
raises old Ben to a different level. Because if I'm a little kid and I hold on to this toy until I'm 17, 18, that meant something to me. That old man that gave me that toy, I'm not gonna say, you know, I'm indebted to him for the rest of my life, but he's a little bit more than old Ben.
I mean,
You
I'm
know what I'm
torn on that
saying?
point, Jose, because I'll say for me, because it wasn't like he hated old. It's like old man Johnson who lives at the end of the block. I mean, not to say whatever. There are a lot of
That's
other
fair.
factors
That's
in
fair.
play. So I always take it to be it's not necessarily how Luke felt about him. I mean, peer pressure is a nasty thing, and even though by the time we meet Luke in A New Hope, he's the only team left in all of Tatooine. Everybody's
Yeah,
gone off
gone. They
to
gone.
either be in the Empire or they fighting in the rebellion. So everybody's gone. So I'm under the impression that a lot of, I mean, I'm there's a lot of kid stuff that happened in the interim. So I'm assuming there's a lot of things that went down, but there is a sense of disconnect. I really honestly feel from where we are because I'm with you 100% in terms of her reaction when he dies, in terms of these relationships, man. It's just a problem for me.
I mean, at the end, I mean, it was like they was bonded. You know what I mean? That's like that's Uncle Ben right there. You know what I'm
Yo,
saying?
that's real talk,
You
man. No, and I'm
know
like,
what I'm saying? That was
if
real.
that's the case, then I don't know why she don't break down when he gets like it don't make sense. It
It's
doesn't
and
make any
they shoot,
sense.
you know, they shoehorned it in, man. So uh
Ex- execution fell off. I mean, well, plot wise, execution fell off the rails. Like I think that was the weakness to me for the series. Um, Reva, like it was just some of the stuff. She was the luckiest cat in all of the world. Like her knowing to pull Leia, that's what was going to get Obi-Wan is a problem for me. When they're going to the Underground Railroad, the fact that she saw a bot leave, you know, a warehouse or whatever, and she knew that's the one. It was too much for me. It was too much. A lot of stuff that was going on didn't make any sense. So
speaking of not making sense, and I'm trying to wrap this up, these stabbings, did they not disturb you? People routinely getting stabbed and walking off. No back in time, no nothing. But was taking. She took as a kid. She took a stab right.
She took a stab,
and then rolled. She took another stab, shook it off, hunted that kid down. I mean, these people are taking. Grand Inquisitor, he took a stab right to the heart. Shook it off.
I mean, I'm always torn because these are lightsabers, so it always. I'm torn on how stabbing works because I'm always in the impression that if you're killing somebody with a lightsaber, you need to slash as opposed to stab because it just depends on where you go in because you're cauterizing the wound. You come in that
That's
thing,
true.
you know that heat.
Spines too. I mean,
yeah, I mean, I said that you don't. You gotta hit the right spot. So I'm always in the impression you gotta chop somebody in half as opposed to sink through somebody's middle. So you might get them, you might not. I don't know. I mean, I don't know why the Force don't guide you to the right point.
If indeed you wanted them to live. Now, my impression is she meant to kill the Grand Inquisitor.
I was under the impression that too. So that was just sloppy. So I don't know. Everything else was falling into place, but she tried to kill this dude. Somehow or another, he get up and walk away. How Vader didn't kill her is a problem for me. I mean, I know, like I said, I read whoever the creator of this joint is. She was meant to die. So Reva. So I don't how she made it into 6 to be whatever. She wasn't supposed to make it. Vader was gonna kill her. So I don't know if it was gonna be the head chop. I don't know if it was gonna be whatever. But
I didn't know.
Yeah, I read. She wasn't gonna make it. So
do you buy her redemption bit?
I mean, it's hard because she was cutting people's heads off. She was so straight. I mean, and to me, she was deep cover. It's hard to bounce back out of deep cover. Like, I mean, I don't know. I mean, and I'm not gonna sit and pretend like I'm an expert or whatever. But she immersed herself in the dark side. I don't know how. It just seemed like it's a hard thing to shake off. Where were you at on that?
On her redemption seemed kind of, I ain't gonna say arbitrary, but I mean, it seemed like, based on the fact that I pretty much saw the Reva show coming, it's going to be a Reva series. So she
had to make her a hero.
There was no choice. So she couldn't leave the Obi-Wan series still being in it. Well, she wasn't going to be an Inquisitor anyway. Once Vader stabbed her.
Yeah, she was done. She's on the run.
Yeah. So and I hope they're not chasing her because again, why'd stab her and leave her alive and then chase her down?
Well, I mean, in my mind, I don't know because I'm with you on that because they have to think she's dead, and at the point where you find out she's alive, I mean, I guess the Grand Inquisitor is gonna be like, we got to kill Reva.
You could have killed her right there. 2 of you right there. I mean, it'd have been easy. I mean, I can't. So, I mean, her redemption was necessary, but I didn't really feel it. It wasn't an emotional moment to me. I thought the Anakin Obi-Wan bit where he tells him, I'm not your failure. I made, myself basically. Which kind of, I mean, I kind of felt that, but like, when they first came into contact, he was like, I am what you made me, so he got to make up his mind, Which is it going to be? So that kind of busted up that first line. But I did think that moment was all right. I'm still kind of wondering why Obi-Wan doesn't hold him more accountable for killing them kids. That's an old problem that, to me, haunts the rest of the series. Because when he went to Mustafar to get Anakin, he should have went there. Yoda shouldn't have had to talk them into going to take out.
He got to go. Got to go.
He killed babies that there was like, Master Luke, what are we gonna do? They knew that dude.
Yeah.
It's like,
we're saying
there's too many of them. What are we gonna do?
We're overwhelmed.
he decided that this is the time to cut them down. All right, so I ain't never gonna forgive you for that. I don't care how, if I raised you from a baby till you was 40 years old. I never forgive you for that. So I come into that dude with heat. So I'm trying to murder that dude. It wouldn't be no accident that he walked away with no legs and no arms. Matter of fact, he would have pushed him onto the lava. He was, to me, he was never appropriately angry about that.
Okay.
Or disturbed about that. He was like, "Here's my brother. You stop being my brother when you kill them kids. You sit there and burn and think about what you did." But you leave you to die. I mean, leaving him to die, that just been revenge for him. That dog heart, you know what I'm saying? He did that on purpose. You know what I'm saying? You burn for a while and think about what I'm out. I'm taking your lightsaber too. But that to me that always comes back and bites, future of the series, because I never got that.
You do it as soon as he see him, he should remember them younglings.
Nobody seemed to care except for I don't know, Reva, I guess.
Reva, I guess she the only one. She was hot enough you take one in the gut. Yeah, man. You take one in the gut, you coming for somebody. I'm with you.
All right, so what's your overall grade?
My overall grade, I enjoyed the acting, the characters. I like the use of the Force, but it's weighed down heavily by execution, the plot in particular, and it's just real sloppy. So overall, it ended up getting a C-.
Okay.
D plus C minus. This is where I'm falling with it. Yeah.
At this point, you persuaded me at least to give him a D.
Okay.
I was going straight F, but I'm gonna go solid D, because it messed up too much of the continuity without giving me something that I really. The only thing that I got out of there that I really needed is Obi-Wan Force abilities.
Okay.
And maybe that's about it. Everything else, I mean, like I say, I would love to have seen them open up with a Reva series, because that story seems interesting as all get out to me. A survivor, youngling, going undercover to try to get Vader. That's just pretty ballsy. I thought that would be a great series, but
I think so. And I would love to see it.
Yeah, but I mean, like you said, she was an instrument to get the whole thing going. Yeah. So they just didn't execute it as well as I thought they did. So okay, well, I thank you for your help in breaking that down. I probably never watch it again, but I'm on to Miss Marvel, which I have a higher opinion of.
Okay.
It's still got time. I'm trying to torn as to whether because we're on episode 4 now. There's 2 to go, but I think this might be a good point to put in a review.
Okay.
We'll see. Anyway.
I haven't seen it yet, so I don't know.
Yeah, you wait until the end.
I wait till the end, man. I like the Netflix model. I want to get all of them. I'm binging everything together.
Okay. I'll catch you on the end of it then.
All right, 10 for 1 that one.
Okay, everybody. Thanks for watching this, and let me know your impressions of Obi-Wan and Disney Star Wars. Yeah, I see you're going to say Star Trek. But no. Paramount Star Trek is a different thing. If I ain't watching Brave New World, man, that joint's trash.
It's a different review for a different time.
Yeah. Paramount stuff, I'll let you know out in front, Discovery is trash. It is absolute Picard trash. Discovery trash. I'm kind of cool with what you call them? What's that cartoon?
Under deck, under decks.
Yeah, I'm kind of
below decks.
Lower decks. Yeah, lower decks. It's better than the other 2. The Orville, that's where it's at. But whatever, we get into that later. All right, thank you for watching this again. Let me know your impressions. Until next time, stay loose.
Later.